It was back. Good afternoon, everybody. If you are in Nashville, well, let me just make sure this is telling me there was a.
You're in Nashville. I hope you brought an umbrella.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm getting an error message, so I just want to make sure that this is cruising along. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're all set. Yeah, it's pretty gray and nasty here, but we're going to try to bring a little bit of brevity to that. Those of you who aren't familiar with our format for randomized revenue, we'll take a list of random companies. We're going to spin a wheel. The wheel's going to decide which company that Rob and I are going to try to build as quickly as we can. A very rough but serviceable go-to-market strategy. And that go-to-market strategy is going to include elevator pitch, what we think the total addressable market is, and that ideal buyer persona. And maybe the tech stack, whatever we can find there. How are they supporting the sales team with paid media and content? All the elements that we know are needed to really drive a holistic go-to-market strategy. We're going to try to do a little bit of all of that as quickly as we can. And ultimately, what I take away from this, a deliverable, if you will, is a document where you can hand it to somebody who's never sold this thing before and say, hey, here's 101. You could probably get started here. So we've opened up the chat this time around. We realized last time some folks were chatting in and we weren't seeing it. So I put the chat field up here. So if you have comments or thoughts, you want to throw something out there, you think we're totally off base, like just give us a holler. We're happy to redirect based on some ideas if you throw them in there. Or if you think that we're total fools and we're doing it wrong, we take constructive criticism. So we're very flexible in that way.
Someone's going to be boo.
Yeah, just keep it positive. We're sensitive. Okay, cool. So here is my fancy wheel with this amazing color palette. So I'm going to go ahead and just spin this wheel and see what we come up with.
That is beautiful.
I know, isn't that nice with that Whataburger ad in the top right?
Big money.
Wow, they really increased the velocity of this thing. Building the suspense. Ooh, salary.com.
Cool. That's neat.
Let's rock and roll. Okay, cool. I can deal with that. All right, salary.com. It'd be funny if it was like, welcome back. You're looking up here. Welcome back. Okay, let's do salary.com. So here's the format, right? So these are the different elements that we're looking for. And this is part of our process every day. We're trying to unpack these various elements of how a go-to-market team or a sales team or marketing team is being run. So Rob and I are going to try to crank through as quickly as we can while we're both looking at the website and doing some research on the side is features and benefits, buyer persona, what collateral is out there, how we pitch this thing. Are they running paid ads, TAM, all that jazz. So we're going to jump over to salary.com. And we're going to try to do a quick crash course in why they exist. What's the product? Why does it matter? This is something that I'm a huge fan of, just as a call out, generally speaking, is right here above the fold is they're making it very clear what the two use cases are, which I really appreciate. You've got the employer use case. You've got the individual use case. What am I worth? Rob, I think you're worth a ton. But,
yeah, bad news, Chris. This doesn't look good.
Yeah, Rob Solberg. Okay.
So I did it. I'd like to know what I'm worth, and what it is, it's pushing me to job boards. It's aggregating postings based on the title you put in and the geographic location. It's pushing you to a bunch of sponsored postings. It's super creative.
Yeah, I dig that. Okay, cool. So I think that for us being really more B2B focused, this employer's use case is going to be the most interesting one for us. And I think that right here, they're kind of giving you the answer to the test and what the value prop is. It's like, what should I pay my employees? Like, that's going to be the biggest challenge for companies in a competitive talent marketplace. It's like, how can I offer competitive pay without stretching my budget too far? So, for employers, like, let's put that in use case, like for employers.
And maybe we just stick with that. Maybe we just use the employer side of it.
Yes, agreed. What should I pay my employees?
And am I keeping up with the last year and a half has been bananas in the market. I mean, to have a tool like this that you're using, quarterly to make sure that your salary is, the salary of your job open jobs is keeping up with the expectations of the market is incredibly useful.
They've done a phenomenal job here because on the homepage, you got the two use cases. I only clicked once, which is I clicked on employers. And I haven't even gone down below the fold. And there's three options for me to get value. See it in action, price a job, And then this overlay comes up where you can just start your free trial. It's like, just get right into the product. You don't even need to learn anything else. Like, just start a free trial. I love that. No credit card, nothing. So that's badass. I'm gonna kill that. Comp analyst. So I think that is really the tool that we'd be wanting to spin here. So let's call that comp analyst. And see it in action. I mean, it's hard to scroll past that. See it in action. Okay, so they want you to schedule a demo. So lots of calls to action right out of the gate. Here's a great testimonial. Comp analyst allows us to build our team credit compensation models while in growth mode. So I'm going to put that down here in collateral. Like, this is a great place to use these types of things in sales conversations.
They are very well funded.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so I don't want to do that. Let's talk a little bit about the company that delivers faster decision-making and new insights. Okay, there you go. This is our features.
They're publicly traded.
Oh, no kidding.
Very interesting.
All right.
Since 2007.
I would actually call this a benefit. This isn't a feature. Faster decision-making, market trends for compensation, employee data. All right, so those are good benefits. And then tools, workflows, price jobs quickly, access the information you might need. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Got a pretty sicky tech stack.
Oh, I can imagine. What are you seeing on there?
I've got Salesforce, obviously, Pardot, Adobe Marketing Cloud. They've got Hotjar to look at, heat maps and site usage, Bombora. There's a good bit of advertising on there I saw. They've got a Facebook pixel for conversion tracking. If they're doing some social media marketing, they got LinkedIn Insights. They must be advertising on LinkedIn. Looks like they're doing something on Bing. And then
don't forget about Bing, folks.
Forget about Bing. I hear they're up and to the right.
An untapped wasteland of opportunity.
Up and to the right. It's an intercom shop, which I think is a super cool tool, and the rest of it's sort of standard. But that's a good stack.
Yeah, and that's what Rob's using to pull that is this tool called Built With.
Yep.
And this is a great use case. I mean, as a salesperson, as a marketing person, operations, Built With can give you not perfect, but like general insights into what the tech stack is. Like, as a salesperson, if I'm doing outreach on this can give me a little ammunition. And I know you're a Salesforce shop. We work with Salesforce. You can go on and on with how you want to articulate that depending on the use case. But yeah, they have a fat tech.
They've got a ton of tech for ads. I think they're selling a ton of advertising.
Yeah, but they are. So if I go to salary.com, and here's how you can see the ads that they're running. So if you go to their LinkedIn page and you go to, oh yeah, you weren't kidding. If you go to posts, and then you can scroll over to ads here. All right. This is exactly what you said, Rob. Job market is evolving. It's up to HR to keep their compensation data accurate, on target, and easy to find. Well, there's your use case and your persona. So we've got, I would say, CHRO, VP of HR. Excuse me. CEO is going to be very heavily involved. I would think, there might be an entry point with talent acquisition. They have to be transparent about compensation. They're not going to be the person ultimately, I don't think, deciding that, but I'll put them in here as a use
Look,
case.
it really depends on the size of the business, right? And that, how mature that business is, who's going to be most interested in, the problem salary.com is solving.
Yeah. So this is HR focused, HR. So I love that the messaging is consistent. Like, compensation management is a big challenge. Yeah. Compensation management. What's the difference between these two? It might just be the targeting. Yeah. Comp analyst, and they've got the registered trademark that gives you a little bit of weight. I bet you they've got a ton. Yeah. Oh, this just keeps going.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the advertising stuff I'm seeing and built with the plugins and platforms, it's like one of the most extensive stacks I've ever seen for advertising.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up. All right, so I'm gonna look in SEMrush.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So look, I think the value prop here is super strong and somewhat obvious, which is number one, make sure that you're attracting the right talent in your market with details around salary expectations, and then make sure you're doing the same thing, retaining your talent, making sure that they're not being left behind.
In a competitive and unpredictable job market. Okay, so we know they're running paid ads on LinkedIn. And I opened Facebook for like the first time in forever.
They've got a custom audiences plugin I saw for Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, you can use this same trick for ad transparency on Facebook, and they always move around where this is. Page transparency. Okay, so then you go to see all, and then you scroll down. You can look at their ad library. Wow. All right. Oh, sorry. Can you not see? Yeah.
Well, what got you interested?
Well, I'm just surprised that they're not running ads here. The last time they launched ads was July 22, and both of those ads were taken down just for advertising standards. Doesn't mean anything. It just meant whatever was in the creative or whatever. Oh, it ran without a disclaimer. Yeah, that might be a little tricky. There's probably a little bit of nuance to anything around like pay and all that. That might be tricky, because I was thinking about the two use cases. The employer makes sense. You're targeting HR and senior leadership on LinkedIn. But then if you have a funnel for individuals, I guess I don't want to get too off track, but I wonder what the revenue play is for individuals.
Well, I think it's selling those sponsored job postings.
Oh, got it.
From the other job boards.
That makes sense. Survey and data says just simplify creating job. This is a nice benefit too, simplifying the process of creating job descriptions.
Totally, that's awesome.
Like I mean, we've both written job descriptions, and it can feel a little weird, like you're trying to write it in a way that it's clear, but also you're not trying to get too fluffy, and like it's a little tricky. Yep. So that's a nice.
But look, the value prop is strong. It's make smarter compensation decisions that keep you competitive. Boom.
Yeah,
that's really strong.
All right, I'm going to look at their resources. Tons of content. Oh, let me go back to this, because I was going to look at this. They're getting 5.3 million organic visits a month.
Super.
Can work with that. Awesome. Interesting. Top organic keywords: nurse practitioner salary, dental assistant salary.
Interesting.
I mean, the SEO play on this is like, that's got to be such a home run. Every person ever has typed their job and the word salary. Everybody has. Oh man. Okay, cool. Oh, and then organic competitors. Pay scale. Okay.
Who's the big one? It's hard for me to see your screen. Who's the biggest competitor?
Okay, let me zoom in. It looks like by competitive keywords.
ZipRecruiter, huh?
They're saying ZipRecruiter is
interesting.
So then you're right. Then the salary goes into a job board.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So find a job. So maybe that's where that competition comes from. Find a job, search.
Because it was like Glassdoor. Pay scale looked like the real, no kidding competitor.
Yeah. Okay, so if I want to be a spray painter,
A spray painter.
it says hot job opening.
I want to be
Spray
a spray
painter.
painter.
Are we talking legal spray paint? Yeah. So then they're then we don't have to just syndicating
right.
these. So if I click apply for this job, know your way around a spray gun? Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I can apply natively. All right. I got a little in the weeds here, but salary. And then I think that they have salary transparency here because that's the whole point, but I have to create an account to view this. I don't. Okay, cool.
No, yeah, it showed me the data. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get back over here. So we got company features, that makes sense. Benefits makes sense. Buyer persona makes sense. They've got content all over the place, so we could pull from whatever we needed. Elevator pitch is pretty straightforward. LinkedIn ads, they're not running on Facebook. I know they're running on Google, so they're and Bing, so they're running search engine. I mean, that's got to be the honeypot. There is the just people
Absolutely.
Googling that stuff. Backlinks. Wow, you got a meaty website.
Sure do.
Advertising. I thought that SEMrush had visibility into what they're spending. That's all right. I don't think I have that. Okay. Then I think that we're at a good spot where we could actually start to think about. Oh, the one thing I wanted to look at was TAM, and I think.
And how are you going to evaluate TAM? Just based on those titles?
I mean, that TAM is going to be huge.
Massive. I mean, what do you consider TAM to be? Anybody who has employees? I love when people say my product is great for everyone. I'm like, I don't believe you.
In salary.com's case, I believe it. Yeah. All right. Do you have an employee? Would you like one? Perfect for you. All right, cool. All right. Well, then outbound, I mean,
it's super cut and dry. I mean, this is a 3-sentence email. Are you worried about retaining the talent you have? Are you worried about attracting the right talent?
Yeah.
Do you know that salary is, there's some statistic I'm sure you can find that salary ranks, 1, 2, or 3 in a person's, decision making as they're evaluating a new role in a new a new company. Make sure that you're top of the heap.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget our 14-day free trial.
So that's right. Because if I was doing like more of an ABM type strategy, which I don't know if you could, the TAM is just so big. Like, I don't know how you even narrow that in unless they do it by like volume of job postings or something. Like, let's assume that they have some way, I'm sure they do, some way of saying, all right, here's our like enterprise customers. Your email for sure probably work. They might have a way of also saying, if I had 50 target accounts for ABM, I could, let's say that, let's use, I'm trying to think of a company that might be a good example for this. Like, well, let's use one of the other ones from the wheel. Let's say Chat Desk. Okay. So I promise I'm going somewhere.
I believe you.
Okay. So if I go to Chat, and then if I go to careers, and then I have visibility into the roles that they're actively hiring for, right? So can I use the comp analyst tool and just run a quick report where I say, all right, I've got Chat Desk is my target account. They're hiring a senior front-end engineer, machine learning engineer, so on and so forth. Put those all into comp analyst. And then my outbound email is not, you struggle with pricing for, your roles or whatever, but hey, I saw you have these roles posted. I want to just give you some value on this. We ran it through our comp analyst tool, and here's some ranges that seem competitive with these types of roles in
Yeah.
companies similar to
Yeah, and then you'll
you
say
might
something like
find.
interested in how we got there, like schedule a call.
Yeah, cool. For what it's worth, we do a 14-day free trial.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that idea.
Yeah, and you know, some companies are going to have way too many, but I feel like if you went to a VP of HR, VP of talent, CEO or CHRO, and you gave them something really meaningful, like remember we used to use those reports. We could run somebody through that analysis tool and say, hey, you scored up 78 out of 100, whatever.
You know, in which case it might
Something
be
like
make more sense to target the hiring manager who's probably getting salary bands out of some combination of finance and HR. You know, so you target the hiring manager and they go back and go, look, you've priced me, 6% below the market. You're going to kill me on filling this role.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. And I wonder if they have a play where if they find individuals who are applying through salary.com for jobs like senior front end and they haven't applied for the chat desk senior front end engineer, they could be like, hey, there's this candidate over here who's been applying for jobs for senior front end. You know, they might be a good fit for you. They could probably facilitate getting more qualified candidates.
I'm sure there's something that works like that. You're probably right.
All right, cool. Well, I think we're pretty well packed there. I mean, short of us just writing the outbound email, which I think we pretty much just verbalized.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel pretty decent about giving this to somebody. I mean, there are, I think, more cons than pros to having an almost unlimited TAM. Like that's a huge challenge because like, where do you start? If we ask folks all the time, like, all right, if you can only make one phone call tomorrow to a customer you'd want to sign a contract with you, like who would it be? And that's a tricky question to answer.
Yeah.
So
I mean, segmentation becomes the trick at that point. You got to be able to break that massive audience off into, little manageable chunks. And then data becomes the second most important thing, making sure that, whatever activity, whatever results are being driven by activities are measured in such a way that you can figure out which audience truly is the most receptive to the offer.
Yeah. I mean, what you could do is you could almost build the sales team around job categories. So like if you had a team that was focused predominantly on development or IT roles and a team that was predominantly finance or operations roles, then that could help narrow their focus and increase and accelerate their understanding of that niche over time. So as a company base, all they would have to do is go to the jobs board and start researching, and that's their lead list. Any company that's hiring for a senior front end engineer, JavaScript developer, whatever, then they basically got their lead list there.
Yep, I'm with you. This was a good one. This was a good pick. I'm glad a good randomized pick. It was good.
Good randomized pick. Cool. Yeah, that was great. Well, the chat was silent probably because we just slayed that. So what's there to talk about? So I think we'll leave this one here. Again, we've been building out the recordings and the docs on these for what it's worth. So I still owe, I guess, our audience, folks that have seen this, putting them all in one place. So I'll definitely get around to that. But in the meantime, I hope you took something away from this, maybe a little, trick here and there that Rob and I have used in our experience, or at least continuing to flex the muscle of how to go about this, in just a couple of minutes. So appreciate everybody who joined, and hope to see you on the next one.
Big shout out to Jaren's mom who tunes in every time we do this.
That's right. She's a lovely lady.
Thanks, everybody. See you.